I think, right, I'm a good person, but I'm not quite sure. So I'm going to tell you the worst thing I've ever done, and hopefully we'll get some kind of closure from that. The worst thing I've ever done, right? I once pushed an 11-year-old child who was scared of water. You don't know what I'm going to say yet. Into water, and in my defense, it was funny, but I must just say I was 11 at the time. You know, I'm 22. I don't just go around kicking kids into the sea without a good reason. But let me tell you the story. It was our first time at like the swimming baths, and what we had to do, when we arrived, we had to like line up in like a queue, dive into the water, swim to the other end, get out the water, and then queue up again. And it was all going fine until the person in front of me hesitated, and he hesitated, and you give them 6 Mississippis, right, and then you push him in. That is wisdom for life. That's what you do, right? The teacher wasn't helping, right, because he was just saying things like, "Take your time, take all the time in the world, don't worry, it's no one's going to push you in." That's where I got the idea from. Anyway, so I'm stood there waiting, and I don't understand how somebody could be afraid of water. It doesn't make sense to me. How can you be? I've seen him drink. How could he be afraid of water and yet still drink it? Okay, you wouldn't get that with any other fear. Like a fear of spiders. Okay, if somebody said, "Okay, I want you to walk through that tunnel full of spiders," and you'd go, "Well, I'm afraid of spiders, so I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to politely decline your offer." If they just said, "Okay, can you just drink this cup of spiders?" You wouldn't turn around and go, "Oh yeah, okay, I'll do that." It just doesn't make sense. So thanks for laughing at that. I thought it was funny, but okay. Thank God it's not being recorded. Anyway, I don't. I thought it'd be a win-win situation. Like it's either I push him in, okay, and I force him to face his fears, and he comes to the conclusion that actually it's not as bad as he thought it'd be, or he panics and it's funny. Now, for me, it was very much the latter, but So anyway, you might think it was quite a cruel thing to do. I think it was actually a very nice thing to do. It was very altruistic, and it was because I made 20 kids behind me laugh. And only one person had to suffer. Now, for me, that's a very good ratio. Those kids were laughing, right? And all you guys have come out here tonight that's why you've come out tonight. So the only difference is tonight there's a distinct lack of drowning kids. In many ways, that's the only difference. Anyway, as soon as I do it right, I push the kid in. Literally straight away, the teacher says, "Get over here now." Literally straight away, the kid's still drowning. God rest his soul. His only crime was not being able to swim. To be fair, I think if anyone's guilty of a crime, I think it's probably me. Anyway, but that's by the by in many ways. Anyway, he calls me over straight away, and he says, "Get your trunks off." No, that's a different story. That was a different teacher. It was actually a very happy story. Anyway, no, it was. It was, it has peaks and troughs like any other story, but it was a nice story. Anyway, he says, "Get your trunks off. Get changed. And wait until we're finished." And I'm going to be honest. When he said that, I was actually quite chuffed. Because you know what? I fucking hate water, honestly. I fucking hate the stuff. I've got another story about the first time I swore in front of my mum. The first time I was about 11, the same age, something like that, and we were sat in the living room, and we were watching something on the Geography Channel, and I didn't know what this word meant. Watching the Geography Channel, my mum's in the room, she's tidying up, something like that. My brother sat next to me, and the Geography Channel says something like, Africa is the 3rd largest continent in the world, and my brother says something like really stupid. He just says, I thought Africa was in Asia. And I just turned to him and said, "Shut up, you cunt," honestly. And my mum straight away turned to me and, she said, "What did you just say?" And she said it in a way that sounded a bit more curious than angry. So I just said it again. I said, "Shut up, you cunt." Within the space of about 3 seconds, I went from one of the most innocent children ever. The only bad thing I ever did was was push a kid in a pool. That's the only thing I ever did. Apart from that, I thought the funniest thing was people saying the word poo in assembly. I used to think that was comedy genius. I went from the most innocent person ever to calling two of my relatively close family members, who I'd always admired, cunts, purely on the basis that they wouldn't shut up. And my mum, she came up to me, and I remember back, I don't know why she didn't absolutely blow a fuse. She came over to me. She was actually very restrained. She came over to me and she said, "Leo, never say that word ever again. It's a horrible word, and it's a foul word. Promise me you'll never say a word like that ever again." And in a kind of innocent shock, I turned to her and I went, "Fuck me, what else can I say?" That's all I've got. Thanks, cheers.